Muchas gracias. Yo perdón que me cambie solo de sillón y esté apoderándome del micrófono hoy. Pero es para mí un verdadero placer presentar el día de hoy a estos queridos colegas y compañeros de varios proyectos que nos gustaría nos compartieran el trabajo que hemos hecho en conjunto en los últimos años dentro del marco de la colaboración Sur-Sur que promueve AmeliCA para la ciencia abierta como bien público. Siempre y reconociendo el apoyo completo, total de UNESCO, Manu en su representación, muchas gracias porque sin este respaldo, este punto de contacto entre diferentes regiones, esto no sería posible. El día de hoy tengo el gusto de presentar a Andrea Méndez Solano, directora de la Revista de Historia de la Universidad Nacional de Costa Rica. También, digamos, representando la región latinoamericana, pero también tenemos a nuestros amigos Devika Madalli, profesora del Centro de Investigación y Formación en Documentación del Instituto de Estadística de la India. Muchas gracias por hacer ese viaje tan largo y estar aquí. A Art Prasad, es former professor and head Documentation Research and Training Center, también del Instituto de Estadística de la India. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. A Eurico Gongo Gungula, rector de la Universidad Oscar Rivas de Angola, quien también nos platicará sobre nuestro proyecto conjunto. Y le pediré al final a Banu Neupan de UNESCO que comente sobre estos proyectos. Entonces, sin más preámbulo, le paso el micrófono a Andrea. Les pediré sean breves 5 minutitos de participación para poder lograr incluir algunas preguntas. Gracias.
Perfecto, muchísimas gracias. Yo tengo, ahí está, perfecto. Bueno, yo primero quisiera agradecerle a Ariana, a Eduardo y a todas las personas detrás de este magno evento por el privilegio y el honor de estar aquí. Felicidades por los 20 años de esfuerzo y compromiso. Latinoamérica tiene importantes y conocidos ecosistemas de ciencia abierta, tales como la cumpleañera, Realic, la Tindex, Cielo, la Referencia, Biblat, todas con dinámicas diferentes, pero con un mismo accionar y un objetivo en común, el de fortalecer la ciencia abierta en la región latinoamericana. Sin embargo, Centroamérica y Caribe es una región con menos recursos y, en consecuencia, la trayectoria hacia la ciencia abierta ha experimentado muchos retos, oposiciones y un sinnúmero de lecciones aprendidas, producto de estos obstáculos. Esto se puede demostrar con algunos datos. Por ejemplo, Redalic solo tiene indexadas revistas de Cuba, Costa Rica, Panamá y República Dominicana. Asimismo, realidades similares se reflejan en las dificultades para la integración de miembros en la referencia, ya que de los 12 países que la constituye, solo 3 pertenecen a Centroamérica y Caribe. Con respecto a Cielo, se encuentra en situación parecida, puesto que solo Costa Rica y Cuba tienen un nodo. Ahora bien, una mayor cobertura de revistas por países la tiene la Tindex, debido a que este cuenta con mayor participación de países centroamericanos y del Caribe. En este contexto, las universidades centroamericanas han implementado diferentes procesos y flujos de trabajo para la organización de iniciativas de ciencia abierta. Por ejemplo, el establecimiento de portales de revistas y repositorios institucionales. Aunado a ello, a este trayecto realizado y con base en un gran esfuerzo por aumentar la cobertura del tema de ciencia abierta y alineado con los esfuerzos mundiales y regionales. En el 2021, el SUCA, órgano colegiado de gobierno de la Confederación Universitaria Centroamericana, integrado por el sistema universitario público de América Central y Caribe, actualmente constituido por 25 universidades de 9 países, estableció en el Plan para la Integración Regional de la Educación Superior de Centroamérica, República Dominicana y Cuba, llamado PIREX, el siguiente objetivo estratégico: promover y facilitar el acceso a la información y resultados de la investigación y al conocimiento producido por las universidades de la región, impulsando principios, conceptos y métodos de la ciencia abierta, dándole visibilidad internacional y transfiriéndolos proactivamente a la sociedad para contribuir al desarrollo sostenible de los países de la región. Es aquí el momento en el cual la sinergia centroamericana para la ciencia abierta toma fuerza, porque la acción posterior inmediata fue crear el Grupo Centroamericano de Ciencia Abierta del SUCA. el cual es integrado por personas designadas por las autoridades de investigación de cada universidad. Este grupo ha trabajado en una serie de iniciativas para impulsar la implementación de la ciencia abierta en la región centroamericana. Estas actividades se han llevado a cabo con distintas personas de reconocido prestigio internacional y socios estratégicos como La Referencia, Redalic, Latindex, COAR, OpenAir y Lirasis, los cuales han colaborado con capacitaciones, transferencias de conocimiento y tecnologías en la región centroamericana. Ahora bien, el Grupo Centroamericano de Ciencia Abierta del SUCA ha priorizado el trabajo mediante flujo de líneas de acción en 4 ejes fundamentales: revistas científicas, los repositorios institucionales, la gestión de datos de investigación y la temática de políticas y normativas de ciencia abierta, de las cuales se han hecho subacciones y lo pueden ver en el gráfico que se presenta ahí. De manera muy resumida les voy a decir que con las revistas tenemos 2 acciones principales, lo que tiene que ver con fortalecimiento y creación de portales oficiales y todo lo que tiene que ver con alfabetización en prácticas de gestión editorial. El segundo es la capacitación de las personas editoras. Y de igual manera tenemos 3 con los repositorios institucionales. Trabajamos la línea con la gestión de datos de investigación, con la Research Data Alliance, principalmente esto es capacitación, y luego con la parte de normativa, y ustedes lo pueden ver en el QR que está acá, pueden acceder a la política, a la declaratoria que el 10 de octubre sacamos el grupo de el SUCA. Datos rápidos, porque ya tengo que ir terminando, de lo que hemos estado haciendo, el del diagnóstico y el mapeo que hemos estado haciendo. 98.4 de las revistas científicas sondeadas se publican en vía diamante, 4.7 practican una modalidad de revisión por pares abierta, 25% ya hace publicación continua, 14.1 hace ahead of print y 6.3 solicita el depósito de datos de investigación. Hay muchísima más información, hay información en proceso que estamos desarrollando, hay muchos modelos que estamos haciendo en Centroamérica para poder salir adelante. ¿Por qué AmeliCA es una opción para nosotros? Porque como lo dijeron en el panel anterior, es una puerta, es una plataforma colaborativa en donde la región realmente tiene la posibilidad de esa equidad, de aplicar a los criterios de indexación a lo que es el índice más robusto, Redalic. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Andrea. Y gracias por recordarnos la declaración de Ciencia Abierta del SUCA, que a mí me llenó de tanto orgullo, y yo la presumo en todos lados porque ese es un pronunciamiento claro, conciso y es justo la dirección que creo que deberíamos de ir. Muchas felicidades a Andrea, a todas las Andreas y a todos los que participaron, Sara, y todos los que han sido parte de estos esfuerzos en Costa Rica. Devika, por favor, Devika y Areti nos van a ayudar a presentar. El micrófono no sé si se lo podrían pasar. Un proyecto que estuvimos trabajando por largo tiempo y que nos permitió conocer también equipos, de verdad fue una colaboración a nivel incluso técnico y a nivel político y en ese punto compartimos experiencias, por ejemplo, desarrolladores de software mexicanos con los desarrolladores de la India y fue una experiencia muy enriquecedora donde nosotros también aprendimos mucho. Entonces, adelante, les cedo la palabra a Devika y a Areti, por favor, para que lo presenten. Gracias.
Thank you, Ariana, for your kind words. I didn't get it because I removed the translator. And thanks to Ariana and Eduardo for having us here. It was a long journey, but I've been enjoying my time here and listening to all the exciting things that you're presenting. One of the initiatives that we did over the past few years, actually spearheaded by Banu, who is here, is the GOAP, the Global Open Access Portal. The first version of the Global Open Access Portal we had put together somewhere before 2015 in its very rudimentary form, and we had left it at that. And then it was Banu who, a couple of years back, thought that this could really evolve into a real implemented South-South cooperative platform. And then he brought us together. He was instrumental in this to talk to each other and then develop this. So I just will present to you what GOAP is all about and its contents. I think I go for the biggest button here. Yeah, it works. So that is GOAP at the portal, web hosted. And these are the components. The GOAP really presents, the objective of it is to present seamless access to a wide array of open access resources worldwide. As I said, this is GOAP 2.0, which is a collaborative effort of UNESCO, Redalic, Indian Statistical Institute, and AmeliCA. And it is redeveloped under the guidance of a multi-stakeholder advisory committee who now and then advised us about its contents and various aspects of it. So the basic objective was for us to present a very wide array of open access resources worldwide on open access. This was the simple and broad objective with which we started off. And this is how it looks. The GOAP, we went for a very simple interface, and the interface is basically the contribution of Ariana and her team who made it look beautiful. We from Indian Statistical Institute contributed to mostly to all the contents that you can see over there. So I'll take you through the contents. So the contents are like that. The open access worldwide, we give a snapshot of open access worldwide. We have included domain-based OA resources to show, basically to show how domain-based OA can be done, and this can be replicated for other domains. We have done, for example, a couple of ones. We also given the information on the non-commercial open access workflows. We include OERs on OA and some news and features about open access itself. So coming to the open access worldwide, we have included the member countries of the UN, 166 countries, then when we did. And the countries include like this, 46 countries in Africa, 19 in the Arab states, 28 Asia and Pacific region, 49 European countries, 2 countries of North America, and 22 for Latin America and Caribbean. I mean, this is an ongoing process. We keep adding, but I just took the data which we had a couple of months back. So each of the country profile would include something like an introduction, introduces the OA status of that particular country, listing out the number of OA journals from that country, say, for example, on platform like DOAJ, the number of repositories on platforms like Open Door, the number of OA policies and mandates they have either at the national level, the funder level, or institutional levels, different levels that they have, which are registered and which are visible on the web. A number of OA resources that are listed in resource like ROAD, and number of publishers giving the OA policies listed in resources like Sherpa Romeo and such. So the country profiles also include what kind of enabling environment is there in that country for open access. It details what kind of favorable conditions are there for open access, and as well as if we could trace certain barriers or hurdles to open access in that particular country, we just have highlighted them. We also include the key organizations which are working for open access in a particular country, and prominent events and programs that were conducted for open access. And of course, we include publications that are OA from that country. So this kind of content for each country we have included, and then we have given in like a visual way of drilling down to whichever or whatever country a person wants to look into like that. So for example, France, if we take, so this is how it goes. We take France, and then on this side you can see introduction and the key organizations and the mandates and the publications. That's how we organize for each country around the world. Coming to the domain-based OA, as I said, for example, we included 2 or 3 domains. Those days it was really intense COVID days, so we included the Cure portal, which was the COVID-19 Universal Resource Gateway, which we called. And the other one, for example, we did was the Big Data and AI Resource Gateway. So the Big Data and AI Resource Gateway is really a one-stop portal on various kinds of information on big data and AI. It includes lists of journals linked to their URLs, mostly OA journals. The big data actual journals, the full text, like we had about 61 journals, data mining journals, so on and so forth. We also had some dynamic content where we could find the RSS feeds, and we integrated these feeds, and they are being live updated. We also include the prominent educational institutes that offer courses on big data and AI. So that is how we have organized. Let me just hurry through because Ariana is waving her hands already.
Thank you,
So
Devika.
the other one is a Cure portal. Like I have already given the URL, so you're free to explore the GOAP. We include the non-commercial OA workflow over here. Basically, as you can see, we include a whole array of things because this portal is meant as a vehicle for anything OA across the world. And it's not limited to Ariana, Indian Statistical Institute, or Eurico, or UNESCO. This is really dedicated to the World OA Society to just come together and contribute to this, whatever aspects that they're on OA, each one of us or our institution or our country is doing. So we include things like open educational resources. I'll just hurry through this. Like I said, you can. This is important. We also include what is called an OA Policy Explorer. This was, again, an idea initiated by Banu. Why don't we have an explorer to see what kind of OA policies are around the world? And again, we integrated it in a visual world map. And this gives the policies maybe at a national level, at a regional level, at an institutional level, whatever are already present. But what's more important is we have included the policy guidance for those who do not have a policy and who wish to bring up a policy. We have included ready-to-use templates which they can download and simply adapt to their region or institute or whatever that is there. We've also, this is the chief work of Redalic that they did for Angola. They created a country-based open access portal highlighting the work in Angola, but I won't cover this because Eurico is here with us and he will do. Thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Devika. Could you please, Ari? Yes, please,
Okay.
go ahead.
Good morning to all of you. First, I would like to thank the hosts of this conference, Redalic, and also the sponsors of this event who made it possible for me to attend physically this particular conference. Then, as Devika has covered much of the work we have carried out with Redalic, and of course under the guidance of Banu and a team of peer reviewers. And so this is a successor of GOAP 1. It was not called GOAP 1, now we call it. Okay, so I think Banu thought he should add more muzzle to the GOAP site, so that a lot of ideas came in, percolated down, and we tried to implement what is this one. This one, of course, this is the interface. The feature is, as has been explained, it deals with both text-based research or map-enabled countrywide. Also, you can look what are the policies related to openness. So open policies at a granular level, we went and open educational resources and template to help evolving open policies, and self-assessment to check how open their own policy. First we thought let it be a public, but then we thought we may get into controversies. But individual nations, they can tick the checkpoints, how much open they are. A few domain-specific and research information, and also the news part. So what we have thought is the policies of open access to information, open data, open source software, and open standards. Of course, many people, a little, I think, put on the backseat the standards, but the standards are so important. They ensure long-term access and also interoperability. More important is that. Okay. Anyhow, we try to collect open access policies at a government level, organizational level, but in an institute or a research lab, and also the funding agency level. Because slowly some of the funding agencies are insisting what is your policy with regard to openness, or even sometimes in the context of data, the data access policy. Okay. Then, of course, this is the map, which was the methodology we followed is, of course, the Ariana team has developed the portal using Drupal, the interface part, but where we put a lot of content gathered in various ways from various resources. So again, we did, to find out what are the policies evolved by or offered by each country, we did a lot of web scraping, okay, using Python programs. Then again, we know that these are not completely reliable. Then manually we check it again whether the particular document that is retrieved using the Google search and doing web scraping. So we did look into manually and identified and provided the links to the documents that pronounce the policies. So integrating again with the website and also with the map. Then harvesting also we wanted to collect so that the content becomes more and more dynamic. For that, of course, we used RSS feed aggregators and identified various journals in various domains, especially those days COVID and big data and AI. And it used to collect from RSS feeds and post it as a blog, so that every day probably you have a different information. Then we used the good old OAI PMH protocol, which is normally enabled by many a digital library software like DSpace. Then, of course, if you look into the countries, we covered about 191 countries, and open access to information, about 66 countries have, open data, 71. Actually, in the beginning, it surprised me how come open data has more policies than open access to information, because you know the restrictions of the publishers. Again, open source software about 30, and open standards about, all policies put together about 101. Though countries without policies definitely is a bit matter of worry, and more effort is required. Right now, about 125 countries do not have policy on open access to information, and on open data, 120 countries, open source software, 156, and open standards, 161. All policies put together, about 90 countries do not have policies. The total number of policies, if you look in, that is combined subnational, government, organizational, and funding level, we have open access to information about 650 policies. Actually, we used this information to develop templates. What are the conditions and other things in the policies should be. So you can say aggregation of the existing policies offered by various countries on various aspects of openness.
1 minute, please,
And,
Areti.
yeah.
Thank you.
So we know that it is not exhaustive, because after all, the world is dynamic, the content is dynamic and everything. So we still appeal to all the government in case you introduce open access policy. If it is informed, we can enrich our own this one, okay? So we have the, as she have pointed out, this part, and jokingly we say this is open mantra. Okay, always use open access to information using open source software and standards. So domain specific, this one, of course, the future work which we are going to carry out is on cross-border data flow, indigenous languages, climate change and downscaling techniques, and climate change disinformation. With that, I thank once again the sponsors and UNESCO, especially in Redalic.
Thank you very much, Dr. Areti. Y ahora quisiera pasarle la palabra a Eurico para que nos platique un poco sobre los logros más importantes del proyecto en colaboración con Angola. Muchas gracias, por favor.
Gracias, Ariana. Tengo una presentación. Yo voy a hacer en portugués para utilizar los 5 minutos que me presentas. A cooperação com a AmeliCA, no que concerne ao acesso aberto, tem dado frutos muito interessantes. E antes de mais, eu gostaria de sublinhar que esta cooperação tem um nível, a nível do nosso governo. Aqui estão algumas entidades que colaboram e validam esta iniciativa. Depois, a nível da Realic e AmeliCA, temos esta composição, só para breve informação. A nível do projeto em Angola, também temos esta colaboração, pessoas que trabalham diretamente conosco. Tivemos que envolver uma série de instituições do ensino superior, públicas e privadas em Angola, que têm esta composição inicial. E o que nós buscamos com esta parceria é, essencialmente, a equidade e o acesso à informação científica a todos. Tivemos que fazer um diagnóstico sobre o acesso aberto em Angola, não nos limitando apenas num modelo, buscando todos para abranger mais informações. Para o efeito, tivemos que trabalhar com estudantes, professores, académicos e políticos, para saber o que é que pensam sobre o acesso aberto comercial e não comercial e tirar as ilações que dela derivam. Também fizemos um levantamento sobre as principais áreas, as principais revistas onde a informação científica de Angola estava localizada, e aqui temos uma pequena amostra. Esta experiência nos permitiu traçar um draft sobre a política de acesso aberto em Angola, que também está em curso, está em contextualização. Essas vantagens nos permitiram fazer uma série de intercâmbios a nível local. Também tivemos a oportunidade de realizar seminários metodológicos com todos, como dissemos, bibliotecários, professores, estudantes, investigadores, e aqui vemos a cooperação muito fática com a presença dos colegas aqui presentes, que tenho a honra de conhecê-los de forma presencial. Estas informações foram todas sistematizadas no portal que a Devika muito sucintamente apresentou, de forma transparente, de forma detalhada, para que quem desejar saber um pouco mais tenha um acesso total. Este é o portal que acabamos de ver e as experiências fáticas que podemos encontrar. Esta colaboração com a AmeliCA nos permitiu elaborar a versão beta do repositório nacional sobre o acesso aberto, que também está em consolidação, usando as infraestruturas da Realic e AmeliCA para este projeto. Este repositório nacional procuramos todos os elementos técnicos para as semelhanças que requerem, e no nosso contexto tivemos que buscar o repositório português de acesso aberto à informação científica como uma amostra, já que está em curso a construção do repositório da CPLP, e Angola vai, com este repositório, integrar a estes repositórios regionais para que tivéssemos todos os resultados devidamente consolidados. Esta parceria nos permitiu publicar um livro sobre o acesso aberto e dados abertos, logicamente, onde não nos cingimos somente nas vantagens do acesso aberto, como também tivemos que demonstrar e sistematizar toda a informação científica produzida em Angola, quer nas revistas chamadas as mainstream, como as de acesso aberto. Estes livros nós pretendemos publicar em 3 versões. A primeira versão em espanhol, estamos a trabalhar para que tenhamos rapidamente a versão em inglês e a versão em português, para que o mundo saiba um bocadinho mais daquilo que estamos a sistematizar, visto que os indicadores de ciência em Angola continuam muito dispersos e nós queremos, com estas iniciativas, torná-los mais acessíveis. Já vimos que a política do acesso aberto em Angola é relativamente nova e nós estamos a buscar cooperações estratégicas com instituições, comunidades que convergem com aquilo que todos nós buscamos. Já ficou ontem expresso que estamos abertos a trabalhar com a Unesco, com a Realic, a AmeliCA e outras instituições que consideram a ciência como um bem público e comum, visando, sobretudo, elevar a visibilidade e o impacto da produção científica produzida em Angola. Espero ter consumido os 5 minutos porque fizeste a correr.
Exactamente. Muchas gracias, doctor Eurico. Muchas gracias. And last but not least, Banu. Last but not least is Banu to comment on the others' participation. But first, I just want to make to recognize that without UNESCO and without Banu in particular, his enthusiasm and his energy to really bring us together at different time zones and with a lot of ideas, with diverse teams. So without UNESCO and Banu, this haven't been possible. So thank you very much, Banu.
Thank you very much, Ariana. Yes. Thank you very much, and I think it's a great pleasure as well as privilege to be amongst these people who actually have, in fact, brought to life a concept that we talk in UN ad nauseum, South-South collaboration. We always talk about South-South collaboration, that countries of the South must collaborate with other countries of the South. Has been a myth. We have talked about it for a long time, but we didn't have anything that we could, in fact, show as an example. So this project has primarily become as an example, and we actually, wherever we go, we show and talk about this thing. But there are a couple of things that I must note. This is a work in progress, and there are many other countries in the South, where we want to help. One of the things, which I take a bit of with a resentment, they talk about, this was supported. We didn't support you. We actually participated with you in developing this. So please do not, never say that, we sponsored this project. We did not. The idea was yours, the effort was yours, the commitment was yours, and even many of the work that you saw, it's in fact a bit archaic. Some of the data are still too old. Some of the data needs to be updated. And we basically take that with a pinch of salt, because we need your cooperation to somehow bring it and make it as recent as possible, which we have not been able to do it. And we need your cooperation and help in that one. And if you want to be, if your country wants to be another Angola, and if you require another support, I think all of these people stand ready to contribute, and whatever small financial contribution that you need for that, we'll be more than happy to provide. But it's not only that. We are never logo shy, and if you think that there is something that you can contribute from your end, please come on board. Please have that. You're also part of GOAP, and you have contributed something, because we need that. We need your logo to appear with other logos which are in that global open access portal. That's one thing. The other thing is we want more examples like Angola, and I think yesterday we have a couple of countries which we are thinking about expanding the similar like Angola model. Model is something that I do not want to use here, but we basically want to make many other countries follow exactly the same route that Angola has followed. It's an example, and we basically like to invite many other countries to join this thing. I don't have anything to comment. In fact, I am extremely proud and privileged to be amongst these excellent people who are working with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Banu. Thank you.